Hi everyone, I'm Connor Clement and you're watching MaineLife Special Spaces. Each week we'll discover new destinations, art galleries, historic properties, new developments, museums, and businesses just waiting to be explored. There are so many special spaces and people in Maine creating them. We're passionate about our state and we're excited to discover someplace new with you. Let's go.
Today we stop in a Maine town known for its coastal character and charm. Oh, and that lobster roll place, where we're going to take a look back in time where the strength of the community was not just about feeding those who visited, but also feeding those who are in the community, even if they're behind bars. Let's go take a look.
We're here at the old jail. It was built in 1811 and it's attached to what was formerly the jailer's house, which was built in 1839 after the original house was destroyed in a fire. This property is so unique because of the way that it shows us how a jailer's family once was living right next door to a place full of incarcerated people. It was central to the things that were going on in the harbor, central to the life of this growing community. Visitors are welcome to come in on a walk-in basis during our open hours, Saturdays and Sundays, where they'll be greeted by one of our awesome volunteer docents. We have a great group of friendly volunteers who will be here to show them around the building. They'll have a chance to go inside the jail itself and they'll look around the house where the jailer's family lived and get a sense of what life might have been like here in the 19th century.
You must be Ed.
I am. Ed Kavanaugh. Hi.
Chris Davis.
Hi, Chris. Welcome to the old jail and museum.
Well, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
Well, let's start off by, let's go to the kitchen.
I'm always hungry.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. Not the kitchen I have at home. So what was this kitchen?
Well, this is a kitchen that would be utilized to cook for up to 55 inmates, all taking place here.
Right here. And what was the menu for those inmates?
2 meals of the day, the breakfast meal and the last meal of the day, were identical. And that would be a large square of gingerbread, 3 biscuits, and a pint of tea.
Now, what was the method of cooking in 1811?
Well, the method of cooking sounds very romantic now, but it was over fireplaces. You cook here, you'd bring coals out, and you could cook under various pots and pans that were raised up.
Yep.
The primary method, however, of baking would be done in the brick oven.
Yep. I mean, I'm just looking at all this stuff, Ed, and it just seems like so much work. I mean, it was just incredible. And correct me if I'm wrong, but she probably had her kids running all around. This was a family of 8. So she had her work cut out for her, and then she cooked for almost 55 prisoners?
Absolutely.
Now, where was the actual prison?
The prison is right next door, actually connected to the jailer's quarters.
Connected to the quarters. Let's go check it out.
Why don't we come this way? I would like to introduce you to Corey, who's a nautical maritime
Hi there.
historian.
Welcome.
And she will tell you a lot about the jail and about those that were in the jail.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
We just walked like 12 feet from the kitchen
Yes.
where the mother was cooking with kids. Now we're in the jail.
Exactly, and there's only 3 doors between the kitchen and the jail, so it's...
Stay locked. So what was it like in this jail?
Yeah, so actually when this jail was built in 1811, it was definitely considered the more humane jail, because instead of one giant room, we now had individual cells.
Now, through your studies, what have you learned about the prisoners who lived here?
Yes, so there were a lot of sailors that were held here between, the mid-1800s and the late 1800s. Most of them were held for things like mutiny and things for deserting their ship. You imagine sailors being held in jail, you would think they're being held after getting into a rowdy battle on shore leave, but
Sure.
based
Drinking
on
too much at the pub?
Exactly, but based on my research, that wasn't the case for most of these sailors,
Yeah.
and we can see evidence of them all throughout the jail.
Ooh, can we take a look?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go.
Let's go. Definitely my first time.
Yes, hopefully your last. So yeah, there were as many as like 4 men held in here at one time.
Okay.
And to pass the time, a lot of sailors and a lot of other men here would leave their mark on the wall with graffiti.
Yeah, so much to learn just from how the building was made, what artwork was left by the prisoners, how they cooked their food. I think I've had about enough time in this prison cell. So, Corey, I want to thank you so much. Ed and Shannon, this has been an incredible visit. We encourage everyone to come check this out next time you're in Wiscasset. Thank you so much for watching.
Whether you're from Maine or from away, it's always been thought of as a great place to hold an intimate gathering, a grandiose celebration, or something in between. These farms, barns, and event spaces are some of the most sought-out destinations for your special day. That's why this week I've chose the barn at Flanagan Farm as our special space.
So Flanagan Farm was about a week away from being burnt down by the Buxton Fire Department for a fire drill. The previous owner kind of saw a unique opportunity in a beautiful space and did a kind of full-scale renovation to kind of make the property what it's become today. Our connection began in 2017 when we got married, and Esther, you can kind of share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so when we got married at Flanagan Farm in 2017, the property had been hosting weddings for about 7 years, and we had such an incredible weekend here, celebrating for a whole weekend with our loved ones, really sort of dreaming up what our vision could be for the space and sharing what was so special about Maine and this area with everyone we loved. My background's in the events industry, Mike's a former chef, and the thought of sort of picking up the reins at Flanagan Farm and imagining what its next chapter could be was really appealing to us. So we've been at the helm since the beginning of 2020, about 30 days before COVID lockdown started. It was a rocky start, but things have been really incredible since then.
Flanagan Farm consists of 66 acres, all of which is protected by the Maine Farmland Trust. Most of the weddings take place in the 5 to 6 acre kind of space that you're seeing right here. The barn itself, which can comfortably do 160 people indoors or 140 if you want to leave room for a dance floor and a band. We have a grove out in the woods. It's just probably about 200 yards off that way. There's a wooded path that leads right up to it. That seats 200 people. We've got a speaker system in there, a microphone, everything that you would need for a kind of beautiful wooded ceremony. Behind us here is a kind of a big open grass space. This tent behind us right now is about 110 feet long. We can do some pretty big events here, up to about 250 guests. To the side here, there's a commercial kitchen space, so we can do year-round events. And then the farmhouse itself sleeps 10 guests in the farmhouse. It's a really cozy home, a place to kind of really make your weekend feel kind of personal and connected to your family. And then finally, right off to the field, there's a little small cottage that sleeps 2 people. That's a seasonal spot, just kind of a fun space to enjoy the property.
One of the things that we hear often from couples is that maybe if they're from out of state, they might be choosing between our barn venue and something that's totally urban. And they love the idea that at Flanagan Farm, they still have that rustic feel, but there's a sort of modern and classic edge to it that really allows for sort of an elevated celebration. We get to know our couples so intimately in the 1 to 2, sometimes 3 years that they're planning their wedding. So to even sort of be a fly on the wall in those moments when they're forming a really huge memory for the rest of their lives it never stops being meaningful, and every single one is so unique and special.
There's so many layers, so many people involved, and one of the things I take great joy is that I think this property is set up in a way to make all of these really kind of complex and nuanced events run very smoothly. It's always fun to see things just work really well.
Mike forgot to say his favorite part is working with me.
Yeah, that's pretty nice working with your wife day in and day out. That's true. Yeah.
I forgot to say it.
Yeah.
We have an initiative called Love Give. We're really passionate about social impact and equity, and Love Give is our way of giving a small piece back to the people and places of Maine. So for every wedding at the farm, that couple is able to choose an organization to donate 1% of our proceeds to. And it's sort of their way of paying it forward with their love. It sort of, from our perspective, makes the weekend that's already about love even more full circle. And we're so grateful that our couples, make it possible to make that contribution in Maine. We love growing, we love the Portland community, the greater Portland community, and so imagining Flanagan Farm really as an anchor, not just for the wedding community in Maine, but for cultural events and culinary events and corporate retreats and holiday parties and family reunions. It's all sort of part of what we're imagining for the next chapter of Flanagan Farm. We're so thrilled and feel really fortunate that we're almost fully sold out here at Flanagan Farm in 2023. I think we just have 1 or 2 dates left between May and November. We are still accepting wedding reservations for the winter of 2023 into 2024. And the 2024 season is starting to book quickly. So if you're interested in learning more about a wedding at the farm, we hope you'll reach out, check us out on social media, or shoot us an email to have another conversation.
We're bringing the plus side to used car buying with Honda True Used. 10 model years of Honda vehicles, plus 100-day, 5,000-mile limited warranty, plus 3-day exchange policy, plus 1 year, 12,000-mile roadside assistance. Equals the better way to buy used. Don't just shop used, shop Honda True Used.
I think what is most important about Real Maine and the program is that it showcases the really great things that Maine farmers and producers are doing. Maine agriculture in general is full of really hardworking, caring, and giving people. The passion and creativity that they put into what they do to produce really high quality food and farm products is unmatched.
It takes a long time to build a reputation, and we've been at it for over 150 years. It's always been about respect, doing what's right for the customer, and generosity. We come to work each and every day to grow that reputation. Whether we're helping local businesses finance their future or supporting community programs, our goal is to create lasting relationships rooted in trust and respect. I'm Andrew Silsby, and I'm proud to work for Kennebec Savings Bank.
One of my favorite parts about living in Maine and being from such a historically rich town like Brunswick is how the locals honor any type of history in renovating or restoring any historical building that we have. I am so excited that today I get to show you a perfect example of this by showing you the brand new hotel, the Federal. So let's go find Annie and get a tour of the Federal. We've made it right into the gorgeous lobby of the Federal with none other than Annie Collagen, the interior designer for this entire new concept. Hi, Annie. It is so nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, we are just so excited to be here. My jaw has dropped. I have been born and raised in this town, and the amount of change and beauty and detail that you have brought to this building, it's incredible.
So in 2021, I was tasked to turn this into a beautiful hotel. As soon as I walked into the doors, it was one of those places I could just see it being a spectacular hotel that would turn Brunswick into a special place. I really tried to bring a little bit of that modern and a little bit of that nautical together. We are in Maine. We do have that nautical aspect to our state, but that was not my focus. I really wanted that to be secondary.
We are now officially into the original Captain Daniel Stone home.
Yes, we are.
This is amazing.
So here is room 502, which is one of the suites that I was referring to.
This fireplace. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous.
This room had nothing in it. It was actually, the entire building was actually used for storage. Again, trying to stay in that old, new, contemporary nautical.
Yeah.
You've got your old bed, you've got your new kind of modern light fixture.
Well, I mean, you count me in for a staycation. I might be native to this town, but I sure want to come stay. This is amazing.
I hope we achieved that.
Now we're in Narcissa, right?
We are Narcissa.
Oh, definitely paying
She got
homage.
the top spot.
She sure did.
She did. There was a lot that went into this room. A lot of architecture.
But we have to show that you kept some of the original exposed beam, which I saw immediately. Oh my gosh.
We didn't change too much. I used 4 major colors, and then what I ended up doing is I wanted to tie this color in with the color of the sofa downstairs.
Oh.
So Narcissa and the suite that's next door have an original color, which is this one. So I only used like 4 colors in the entire hotel. Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, this was not a bathroom. Just gonna say that. This was not a bathroom, but you should definitely go check out the bathroom, which is, I would say, a masterpiece.
And let me also say, all of this was happening during COVID. So that is another part of this story that is probably quite important. Trying to get all these materials, trying to get the contractors and the architect and everybody else who was working so diligently to put all this together. We're doing this during COVID. We cannot be happier with the finished product. And
you should not be happier. It's amazing. Annie, I cannot thank you enough for having us today. And I just applaud you and congratulate you and your whole team and Gerard on everything that you're doing. It is phenomenal. You cannot miss it. But also keep an eye out because Aaron's gonna be back here sooner than later to do a full coverage of the experience of staying here at the Federal, as well as dining at 555 North, which is just to die for. So keep an eye out for that episode. For now, thank you for showing us this beautiful restoration. You've just outdone yourself, and it's wonderful to be here and see it.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Welcome to Berlin City Electric Vehicle Store pop-up. While we still sell thousands of gas vehicles per day, we now have electric options like Nissan Leaf. And we have a large selection of used Teslas. Yes, Teslas. What's that? You want less wheels? How about one? So if you're looking to try or buy an electric vehicle or a one-wheel, stop by at any of our locations because life is easier at Berlin City.
It's a wonderful thing when like-minded, passionate people come together to collaborate, and that's exactly what's happening at these offices at the Maine Wharf. I've walked by these doors so many times to dine at one of my favorite restaurant scales, and now I know why this is such a special space. Come on in.
Hey, I'm Janine.
And I'm Patrick, and we are co-founders of the New England Ocean Cluster. The New England Ocean Cluster is a collaborative work environment and a for-profit business entity focused on blue economy development here in the state of Maine. We abide by the World Bank definition of blue economy, that it must be profitable, must be environmentally sustainable, must be inclusive of the workforce local to the resource. But then we work with companies, universities, not-for-profits, bringing them all together to make that vision happen, to develop the blue economy on the coast of Maine. So we operate another business at the other end of the waterfront under the contract of the State of Maine Port Authority, bringing the Icelandic steamship line Eimskip to Maine in 2013. And in traveling to Iceland, we met Thor Sigfusson, who has the Iceland Ocean Cluster. Over in Iceland, over the last 20 years, their GDP per capita has increased 100%. In Maine, that same period of time, it's increased 15%. But in Iceland, that really was unlocked by value adding to their fisheries, to their coastal resources, and getting higher paid jobs in those industries. So we felt we could do that with Thor here in Maine.
There's so many similarities between Reykjavik and Portland, and we definitely think that we could provide a space that the innovators would be excited to use.
This is the hús. This is the home of the New England Ocean Cluster. Hús is an Icelandic word for home. The design really focuses on people first, because that's really how all these business development opportunities come about, relationships and trust. We have one rule for tenants at the Ocean Cluster: they're not allowed to have a coffee machine in their office. That gets everybody to come out, and then creative collisions occur when people start to meet each other and get to know each other by first name. You never know where that's going to lead. But by having everybody here oriented around the vision and the principles that we share, great things start to happen in the private sector here.
Okay, I'm going to take you over to the fish value machine. So we are partnered with the Iceland Ocean Cluster, and one of their focuses was full utilization of their ocean resource of cod. They found a way to use 100% of the fish so that zero waste was coming from it. And so this diagram shows this beautifully, and we thought, okay, well, how can we insert any of Maine's resources here and find a way to use 100% of them so that there's zero waste? So to continue that conversation, here in Maine, we've had the pleasure to work with Marin Skincare. They are taking marine glycoproteins from lobster shells and turning it into an eczema cream that really works. So these are the fun stories that we love to celebrate. The incubator over here is permanent desk stations for people who don't necessarily need the private office space, but want to participate in all the goings on here at the Ocean Cluster. So we have startups, but we also have nonprofits. We even have a philanthropy that's donated to provide desks for something we have called inclusion in the blue economy, people who are underrepresented in the blue economy communities. So minorities, people of color, indigenous, women get to have a desk space here for 6 months through that. So that's a really cool program that we're excited to support here in the incubator space. And here we are in the Piece de Resistance, one of the best spaces in the house, our boardroom that overlooks the ocean front and all the goings on there.
So we've had the traditional seafood industries like Bristol Seafood, but we also have entities working on new boat technology. So a boat hull coating company called Finsulate. We have entities that have come through here focused on cosmetics, or Opolis, taking recycled ocean plastic, turning it into polarized sunglasses. So we certainly don't discriminate in terms of the industries we get into. We keep everybody focused on how to advance each other's interests in this work. We really want the community to connect right here at the Hoos.
Hey guys, it's Rob and Sam coming to you from the Woods Maine shop in the heart of downtown Norway.
As you can see, Rob is wearing one of our signature heavy hoodies. It's a 14-ounce hoodie with a double fleece line hood. You may have seen Vanessa and Aaron rocking it on previous seasons of MaineLife. This week, we're going to take you down to Westbrook, Maine to visit our printing partners at 320 Inc.
As we launched the apparel side of our business 2 years ago, we sought to work with a local Maine-based printing company, one who understood our vision for quality goods and had the capacity to grow with us.
Hi, I'm Drew Nickerson from 320 Inc., located in Westbrook, Maine. In 2019, when the Woods reached out to us, they knew they wanted to build a brand that was very high quality and high end with some really great finishing touches. And that was perfect because that was right up our alley. We love working with brands like the Woods, who are looking for a higher end, retail ready product with custom finished touches that set them apart in their market. Over the years, as they've continued to grow and open their first retail location, it's been really awesome to get to be a part of it and watch them as they continue to expand their brand.
Thanks for joining us. Visit us in shop at 374 Main Street, Norway, or anytime online at thewoodsmainshop.com.
That's a wrap on this episode of Special Spaces. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors and to News Center Maine. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at MaineLife Media, and we hope to see you next week.
Hey guys, it's Rob and Sam coming to you from the Woods Maine shop here in downtown Norway.
And I completely forgot my lines. Me, 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 me.
La, 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 la.
Sorry.
Come on in.
Oh, and that lobster roll place. Lobster roll.
We are co-founders of the New England Ocean Cluster.
We should try that again.